No, really. It is Tuesday still. This is Trekland HQ, and we are live. Star Trek gifts and the Prodigy clock ticks. Today on, Trekland Tuesdays live with me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek, coming at you here from the heart of Trekland through Portal 47, the Trekland Treks, just bringing you some sanity, clarity, and a bigger picture in all things Star Trek. Wow. Happy Boxing Day, as they say everywhere but the States, apparently. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you again. It is a Tuesday. It's that I used to call this the dead week in between the holidays. At work, it was the time when the world shut down, but I still had news days, and it was the time of year when I would clean out my desk, clean off my desk every year. Dust it once a year at least. Not so dead these last few years, sadly. And that's good and bad both. But how about you? I know we're probably going to have a lighter audience today just because of when it is. But if you are with us today, make sure, as if I have the chat turned on, yay. Good to know everybody's there. If you're on the road celebrating, that's cool. If somehow you have stumbled in and you're new to Trekland Tuesdays live, welcome big time. It's a good time to join us. Well, it's right here on the cusp of 2024. And you should know that hopefully you're coming to us by YouTube. Now, I could turn the other channels off. We've migrated from the early roots on just Facebook Live over to YouTube. YouTube is where, you can see all the comments. You can see all the comments on Twitch too. But YouTube is going to be preserved. Facebook, you won't see all the comments if you're in the chat. YouTube, it'll be preserved. And YouTube is where we have Super Chat now. So you can cross my palm with silver and I will get to your questions first. But of course, if you're a veteran, you know, we start off with a little platform I'll start with here. Then we'll take a micro break and then come back around to the live chat. Now, if you're watching us later, hi later YouTube. If you're watching us later, that's great. Please leave a comment below when you feel like it, or if you don't. If you're with us live on a Tuesday afternoon, though, you can jump right into the chat that you'll see preserved as well on the full live, all right? Please do that. Please like and subscribe on the YouTube as you can. And I'm saying all that just to let everybody recover. I hope you didn't have we had a quiet holiday here. One set of kids I haven't seen them yet. They were sick. Everybody else is scattered. It was a quiet day here. I did make some of my mom's Jell-O cranberry salad for the first time in ages. Quiet day, catching up on some work and Star Trek also. It's not as horrible as it sounds. And one of the things was, as we do at least once a month, I try, is with my Trekland e-news list, my email list, try to do a poll. And this was a lot of fun. Now, I'm going to tell you the results of the poll and the question after I also remind everybody what yesterday was, aside from Christmas for those who celebrate. It was December 25th for those who don't. But for everybody, it was the debut or the re-debut of Prodigy, Star Trek Prodigy. They debut on Netflix. Got a lot of storm. I think there was a pretty good splash, a publicity splash. Now, I didn't go. I was a little disappointed that Prodigy wasn't showing up on the left side of my new on. Well, it did for a while. What I'm curious about is if everybody did what I did, and I've seen some of them on the socials, where you just turn Prodigy on and let it run all day. And I say that not because it's hot or makes you feel cool or you're doing your part, like contributing to the banner, the Save Star Trek Prodigy banner that flew, which was awesome, which was important. Got a lot of eyeballs outside the Trek world. And that's what a lot of this is about. We not only know what Star Trek is and what Star Trek fandom is, but we also know when it has Star Trek on the label, it's in there for good. No Star Trek ever goes away. Talk to the original series about, talk to the animated series about that. Nearly 60 years and counting here. Once you're in, you're in. Talk to the entire Star Trek family. The actors, yes, and the creatives. Some of us are trying to make sure it happens. So, unlike most anything else on TV, if it's got Star Trek on it, it's going to be around. And that is why it's not just to show off. It's not just to feel good. It's not just to feel active and powerful. You watch Prodigy on Netflix right now. Or, hey, if you're not even home, get the app on your phone, on your pad, even if you're not watching. And I don't mean to say this insincerely. Get it rolling, because that's the way the game works. And I say that because there have been numerous stories out every year. The Netflix fans of shows on Netflix hang on. You know, the whole streaming world thought that there was this ironclad Bible. Oh, it's 10 episodes a season, maybe 8, maybe 12. But for the most part, all but the extreme hits only run at most 3 seasons. Okay, well, the emperor has no clothes. The masters of streaming have been exposed as not really knowing what the hell they're doing. Witness everything exposed by the strikes this year. But one thing we do know, and Netflix has kind of wrote the model on this just in the last 10 years, apparently, has been published, Netflix makes a decision about renewing a series within the first 30 days. Within the first 30 days, they've decided whether a show is going to be renewed or not. Sometimes they'll even go ahead and just renew it for 2 seasons and let the creators go ahead and get their 2 seasons out. Now, what that smells like to me is you're going to get 3. So if you want to have a nice, happy bow at the end, we're going to tell you up front, which is nice, I guess. Who knows? It presumes not going past 3 years. What's, well, it's damning with faint praise. It's okay, fine. This is the last present you're ever going to get from me, so it's a doozy. I don't know. But that's what I found. Here's one, and it's that changes. And the strike uprooted a lot of this kind of thinking. But still, looking at articles, see, they blend that in. You'll see the breathless online stories about here's what's been canceled from Netflix, and here's what we know, and here's what's on the bubble. Nobody ever says on the bubble anymore because it's not week-to-week ratings, sadly. Here's what, well, there's one. Now, this is from January 23, so it's pre-strike. Article in Forbes, here's how long it takes Netflix to renew or cancel new shows on average. They actually plotted the 40 shows, 40 series, animated and live action, adult and kids both, of the animation. They plotted, some of these articles have done this. They plotted a series on Netflix from their debut drop to, I hate the verb drop, from their debut appearance to the formal announcement of cancellation, or more likely renewal. Some things are just kind of drift canceled. They're just vague canceled. You never hear. What happens more likely, and you remember this happened with Strange New Worlds and also Picard over at Paramount Plus. They announce the renewal in that first throes of success, which at the time seems weird. I mean, I'm happy for our Trek shows, but but apparently, and the way we're used still with streaming, we're used to 1 week at a time, but Netflix will drop everything at once. So they figure it's either going to be hot early on or not at all. And we waited for Prodigy week by week, but this is a slightly different critter. And no, I don't mean Val Nukat. No, this is Prodigy has been dropped all at once, like a standard Netflix show, even though we have all been dealing with it week to week to week. A lot of Trek fans didn't, and now you can binge it. But the important thing is here, the world at large can binge it all at once. Now, that's cool. That's cool for all of us having re-binge watch parties. It's cool for all of us trying to get our lagging Star Trek friends over there. Or maybe you are a lagging Star Trek fan, and now you can see it all at once. So this is like not unlike when Netflix has picked up other existing shows, Suits, and brought them in at once. Now, what's important here is they didn't just bring up an existing show. They also brought up an existing show with a second season that we have not seen, which is an odd bird here. We'll make it suddenly new again, hot and fresh to Netflix. Cool. I'm wondering if they will drop it all at once or string it out week to week, the way we're traditionally having Star Trek. But, Netflix is their own critter. They don't care what the rest of Paramount Plus does, or Paramount Plus does. What the rest of Star Trek happens, they don't care. They're going to do it by the Netflix model, especially being animation. So when we get season 2, will everybody watching and commenting just have a meltdown? We will see. We will see what Netflix does with their screeners on our end. We'll see what they do. But but even beyond that, we're sitting here right now. All the social media splash yesterday. Prodigy was trending. Star Trek Prodigy trended for a bit off and on yesterday. So yay fandom. But we're waiting to see what happens with season 3. Yeah, there's a season 2 we haven't seen, but we're jump-starting. We're leapfrogging all this to get to season 3. And that's what, since Netflix is committed to season 1 and bought the unseen season 2, which was a no-brainer, obviously. It's been made. We're banking on season 3. And that's why this, what they're looking at right now, they're not worried about renewing for season 2. That's in the bank. It's in the can. They're worried, or we're worried, and they're concerned about a season 3. And so this is something different for Trek fandom, having series that spool out, even though in the streaming era, we got early renewals. What you got to know is, and if you've seen some of the talk by some of the Star Trek pundits, yes, it's not just for show. It's not just a fad. It's not just like some kind of social media gimmick that everybody's doing. This is why everybody is encouraging you to watch, or at the very least, let the meter run. We put our TV in the back. I did a short little reel yesterday on Instagram. We put the back TV on Prodigy. Now, after a few episodes, they'll ask you if you want to keep watching. Are you really watching? And of course you say yes, but there's also an option to say, stop asking me, just let it run. And you can do that. Now, is this disingenuous? Well, we're not taking a census. We're not doing income taxes here. We're trying to get a season 3 for Prodigy, which it deserves. And if the network had time to promote, amid its other 40 shows, if it had time to promote Prodigy for a month or 2 or 3 and lead into a big finale episode, that would be one thing. But as we know, one thing happened to Prodigy was it got the short shrift on promotion, even over on Paramount Plus. That's why there was no 2 seasons of 10. The network, I've been told, didn't have to spend on promoting a season premiere. Yeah, that's why some people actually lagged on Prodigy in the middle until, the silver lining of cancellation was that people started to pay attention. Not unlike a certain original series, I remember. I've read about anyway. Wasn't there at the time. So, yes, it's not just for show. It's not just for social media clicks. It's for Netflix clicks. As much as you can. And if the idea of letting your phone run weirdly, or your tablet maybe, your iPad, whatever, if not your TV, if that freaks you out, then, do what you're comfortable with. But if there's any way to add to the metrics of Prodigy right now, all 20 episodes, not in a month, right now. There's even some talk and word, and this is not out there. The strikes forced streamers, and Netflix has now started talking about the popularity of its shows, something they never did before. But the transparency that the accounting for reruns, that all the strikes and the settlements forced, someone at Netflix has decided we might as well make that public. It would probably become public anyway. Once you're dealing with SAG and the WGA, the actors and the writers and their accountants and their union, and then the individual members, and they compare notes, looking at their checks and seeing the data, it's not exactly like dealing with thousands and thousands of people. This is going to be a secret much longer anyway. So at least this one thing the strikes have done is maybe blow up this old paradigm of the secret streaming ratings. Whoa. That's another thing. But here's Netflix, and I guess good on them, thinking rather than just have that dribble out, they're going to get on top of it and make some hash out of that. They're going to get on top of that and make something out of it, make gold out of the information for publicity and promotional purposes, right? So we'll be seeing, maybe sooner than we know, just how well Prodigy did in a quasi-metric way. And if until then, at least you might be able to watch. Is that how it works? Isn't that how it works? When you flip on to Netflix and here's suggested for you or new this week, when you see the new lineup of icon boxes, if Prodigy is over to the left, that's awesome. And of course, they have number one, but the number one this week, the top 10, those are only movies. As far as I know, there's no TV or animation list. If there is, somebody correct me. So that's why it's important to jump in now, if at all possible. Just let your little Netflix race. And if you're watching something else on Netflix, if you've got a second device that streams of any kind or shape or size, let it roll. It's not fair, but we've got to strike fast while the iron has its meter running for that all-important season 3. All right. That's what I wanted to say about that. Just to add to all the hoopla and hysteria about Prodigy being on yesterday, aside from the fact that, if you've got a chance to sit down with, if not your little ones, your nieces, nephews, your grandkids, your friends' kids, whatever it is, if you've got some 6-year-old, 7-year-old, Cadet Alice was fine with it. When we started watching when she was 5, and as it strung out, she turned 7 last spring. We actually had a couple. The last 3 or 4 of the back 10 we watched after she turned 7. And she's getting a little smart and sad, but even in the beginning. And some of the emotion is the Borg are pretty scary. And some of the chases, even for a 5 and 6-year-old, are a little scary. It was a healthy scary. Having somebody there to talk about it with later on and process it was fine. It was cool. Yes, if you can bring but again, Prodigy is not just for kids. And the further you get into season 1, the further you get into the second 10, your jaw will drop several times as you start adding up the math and doing the dates and realizing what's going on in the background with the rest of the Federation. Yeah. Remember, we are 5, 6, 7 years before we're 7 years before the Romulus black hole, supernova black hole. So even things related to the Romulan rescue attempt and the black hole are even lurking in the background here. It's amazing, much less everything else that you thought that some of the Easter eggs were only for lower decks in animation, and you get several, even some in the pilot. As Star Warsy as the pilot is, you get some broader Star Trek universe bits that if you're a fan, you can tell everybody in your group who may not get what a Cation is, or even what a Kazon is. I know. Raises a lot of questions. The Delta Quadrant suddenly became a much smaller place just years after Voyager's return. That's part of the fun of unspooling this season. Can't wait for it. And as we've been watching, the Hagemans and Aaron Wonke have all talked about the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted on the second season finale. So it's sitting there, it's out of the oven, ready to be served, hopefully sometime next spring, if not later, and we'll see how that goes. So, yes, there's the big media present to everybody. Prodigy back on Netflix. But everybody, hopefully, if you're celebrating, and even a lot of people who don't celebrate Christmas still do gift exchange. And here's the other thing. Again, if you were on my news list, you had a chance to jump in on this issue's poll, a little quick survey, and this one was not broken. That always helps. This was a very simple one. I've done this a couple of Christmases ago. I wanted to bring it back. because it ties into our friends in Star Trek merch, or even our fan friends who are into Etsy. No, I ask a very simple question. Are you planning to ask for something of Star Trek on your wish list, on your gift list, or are you giving Star Trek to a friend, family or friend member? Basically, is Star Trek factoring into your holiday gift giving, coming or going? And it was, so I had five options. You would think there'd be four, but I came up with the fifth. So I have Trek items on my own wish list, but I'm not giving them. We had, come on. There we go. I have Trek items on my own wish list, but not giving. I am giving Star Trek gifts, but not asking. Yes, both giving and asking. And none for me either way, which you would think would be the natural four. I added a fifth. I said none for me, but within my family, yes. My nodal group, my nuclear hub. So here's what's interesting. Nobody on my list who answered, and what did we do? We didn't have a huge turnout. We had about only about 5%, which in the holidays isn't bad. It was enough to make a definite trend line. I'll say that. So here we go. None for me, but in the family, nobody said that. The next one, so I had 12% say, I am giving Trek gifts, but not asking, which makes sense. Then the next group, 22% said, yes, I'm giving Trek and I am asking Trek. Now, most of these people answered before Christmas Eve. So whether you do Christmas Eve or Christmas morning or Christmas afternoon, presents opening, I don't know. Most of these were the last one was cast this morning. Yay. So everybody else, though, was like Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Christmas Eve. So we had 12% say, I am giving but not asking. We had 22% say, yes, I am both giving and asking. I had a whopping nearly 32%, though, say, none for me either way, which is fine. That's cool. Interesting. So nearly a third didn't involve Trek giving, whether it was, we didn't make a distinction between licensed merchandise or Etsy crafts or homemade goodies, Delta cookies. I don't know. So so a little under a third said nothing at all. And the biggest chunk was just a little over a third, 34% said, yes, I do have Trek items on my wish list, but I'm not giving any. So that was a healthy chunk, though. 22% said, yes, I'm giving and asking. I'm sorry, I say healthy. I'm talking about just numbers. I'm not talking about your attitudes being healthy or not healthy. Everybody is, of course, free to do what they want to do. I was just curious to see, and I ask late, so that's on me. But I was just curious to see what the gift giving was going to go with as far as Trek folks. So there we go. That's that. Again, I hope everybody had a safe and warm, and if you found yourself by yourself, hope you reached out. Hope there's always Zoom now. There's always places to get to. Nobody deserves to be alone totally, unless that's your choice. A lot of people enjoy the quiet out of the crazy. But hopefully you found whatever suited you here at this time of year, because it can be rough on people. I know. Hopefully as I say, we had a quieter one here than usual, but we, the former assistant script coordinator and I had each other and had some folks too at the same time. And sure, TV. And so those Christmas Eve football games didn't quite go the way I wanted. But that's another story. That's another podcast. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Tuesday again. Yeah. I just wanted to say, again, what was lost in all the Prodigy hoopla was that there was a method to the madness, aside from the yay factor of having everybody blitz as much as they could. Blitz watch. That's one beyond binge watch, I think. Blitz watch. I just created that hashtag Blitz watch. There you go. But listen, thank you. As we wrap up this year, we're gonna have a look back episode next week. I have a couple things in mind for next week and a couple surprises. It's still in the planning stage. We'll be doing some more look back, but as I look back right here, I have to thank all of our Patreon folk for helping out. I've kept the Patreon small, not by design. I've kept it humble. And many of you have jumped in over the years, and a lot of people have stuck with it. I thanks to everybody who has been in my Patreon at any time. And a huge thanks to everybody who's in right now, obviously. So yes, thank you, Diana Hopkins, Robin Wilson, Lawrence Todd, Anne Marie Siegel, Justin Porteous, Galinda Bruton, Chris Jiggins, Pranikasha Productions, Comedy Forecast, and Andrew Jazimski. And then our live wires, our big second tier giving. Thanks so much, Rob McLean, Byron Bailey, J.R. Poole, Halbert Gunnjonsen, Andrew Huensi, Dave Gregory. I can call you David, can't I? Tobias Rex, Donna S. Runyon, and Casey Shafsky. Thanks so much, everybody. And if you're curious about this, if you're new going into the new year, yeah, it's just $5 and $10. Patreon.com/TreklandLive. That reminds me, I've got to get the new batch of original Portal 47 earlier year backstage interviews out to all the TTLers. That's the big break there in the 5 and the 10. Kept it simple on purpose. Gang, the other thing I kept simple is, I know, talking about who had Trek on their gift list or who was giving, some folks might have had Trek on their gift list and didn't wind up with anything. Well, if Santa left you off your gift list, let me just suggest Portal 47, these specials are still up and they're fine for you, yourself, and you also. It doesn't have to be for somebody else. If you really want the box, well, we'll send the box anyway because you've got some swag in there too. But this special is going to be going on through New Year's Day. So jump in there too. And of course, if you don't want the big special, but you just want to come in the normal subscription, that's an option too. You know, Portal 47 is your mini-con all year long. We have it's up to 10 features a month. That includes the recordings of the lives. We have 2 round tables. If you can come to the midday one with the Europeans, it's so great to be hooked in with your global fellow Trek fans. That's cool too. And of course, our guest night tomorrow night is going to be the great Mike Sussman. If you're in Portal 47, that's Wednesday night. Is going to help us clean out a wonderful 2023. I don't want to judge among all our guests. We had so many awesome ones. We had so many from the current series this year, which is great. We started this when there was no current Star Trek. Starting our 9th year and helping us kick off the 9th year for Open House. I hope you made it live. And if you didn't, I hope you can make it live next year. The great Nick Meyer. And we actually talked about something newer than the Wrath of Khan and Star Trek VI. His Khan miniseries, and made some headlines. So thank you, Tony, for doing a story there. Hey, and everybody that picked it up, in the copycat version. Everything is so incestuous in Star Trek news, but that's the interwebs. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, as you look at your new year and you want to do a little traveling and you come to LA, don't forget, we will set you up with your own customized away mission. Trekland Treks, treklandtreks.com. Check it out. I will help you set it up. There's over 50 places now to pick. Some of them I have not been to. I'd love to go research it. Some of them are your old favorites. Whatever it is, we'll pick you up. We'll get you back to your hotel. We'll wrangle your props and your cosplay, take your pictures, make it a memorable day that you'll never forget. And, it is LA. It's a little on the chilly side times, but January and February, half the time, it's wonderfully warm. and liable to be much, much more hospitable than where you are. Anyway, it's a brand new year coming up, and love to get back sharing those away missions with everybody. All right, that's going to do it for today. That's going to do it for 2023. Now, hang on. If you're with us live, we'll be back here with the chat in just a second. But if you're leaving us on YouTube now, again, thanks for joining in. Hey, there's lots of evergreens here in our channel. Don't forget you can go over and catch Cadet Alice. I just posted a new Cadet Alice in honor of Prodigy's debut on Netflix. We're just about to the end of the season run. I think this was 115, I think. Yes, 115. So we've got 4 more to post with my granddaughter, Alice. She's 7, and it's awesome. It's as much fun to sit and watch Prodigy with her and talk about it as it is to get the perspective of our European and global fans. I should say that. We've got Aussies, Narda. I know you're out there. We have all kinds of folks in around. That's why I do this at this time of year. So if you're watching this later on YouTube, thanks so much. Give a listen on Tuesdays Live when you can, and check out the rest of the entire Trekland. We even have Live Support Live is still up. My 2-year pandemic podcast I co-hosted with the great geek psychologist, Dr. Ali Matu. We had a great time. We'll still do occasional specials from time to time, but all 80-something episodes are still up there, and I think they're still pretty awesome. I think they're going to be timeless too for a long time. With that, everybody, as we head into the weekend and the New Year's, if I don't see you or cross paths with you before next Tuesday, everybody, please have a happy New Year. Look forward to 2024. And I say you can do that, especially if you stay healthy, do all the things. And yeah, there's a new strain of COVID coming back. Not that we're going to have a pandemic lockdown, but the ill effects of strains and variations are nothing to take for granted. Everybody just take care out there, would you please? And of course, stay woke, check the sources. Oh, the deep fakes and everything, all the crazy misinformation and the non-information are going to be thick and fast. So pay attention, everybody. But sure, Happy New Year and trek well. All right, I am back scrolling. Have no idea how many made it today. We will see. But it's good to see everybody who are here. Yay. Mohammed, good to see you, man. And you've got the right idea. Didn't need a prompting from me. Nope. Good to see everybody. Glenn, even at work, sure. Dr. Dave, analysis. May, hi. You know what? I've got to catch up on I'm not a regular Doctor Who watcher at all, but the Christmas specials, I've heard so much great stuff about them. I need to do that. But my gosh, Glenn, you got everything. You had a full day yesterday. Pause or rewind a bit on each episode. I hope you it's like rolling over the street sensor, turn the green light. Yeah. I know. Sorry about that. Had a couple of tech issues here to deal with. We're alive. Good to see you too, Zir. Let's see. Analysis of sci-fi. Any word about Star Trek projects after 31 in Academy? No. I mean, there's lots of word about the hoped for projects, starting with Legacy. It's going to be so fun if they greenlight Legacy but then name it something different. That'll be one of the great wackadoodle things of all time. Yeah, they'll say, well, the ship's named Enterprise, so we're just going to call it Star Trek Enterprise. Oh, wait, we can't. We will see. There you go. Thank you, Mama. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. See, this is the thing, Christoph. I know you're in Austria, and I don't know what the global algorithm on renewal is. I know they've got international series that are, Spanish, Italian, French, German, even, but Spanish market especially. And I don't know, they must have separate, metrics. They're keeping an eyeball on things in a separate vein than they do if something is. They'll show it in the States. It'll be gravy. So I don't know. All of our, outside, even the Canadians are watching it a different way. So I don't know what anybody outside the States doing this kind of a binge watch like we were all talking about here to really hit the numbers early. I don't know if what Europe, even the markets where it's showing, excuse me, I don't even know where the markets it's showing, even on the non-Netflix carriers, what that does eventually. If that trickles in, if it's ignored, if it comes too late to be, shouldn't be late, but it's all in where they're paying attention. Oh, and then yes, I don't know. Did they run anything else? I didn't watch enough on the panel to see if they were had a circular, if they were rotating little factoids in there. But I hope everybody saw the one that I Instagrammed, I social over was. They had a note there that Dr. Aaron McDonald was the science advisor for all the first season, and I thought that was cool. I'm going to suspect they just thought they wanted to tell the world that Prodigy had a PhD science advisor. I think I'm going to be really thrilled for Aaron if Netflix decides that Aaron is a big enough name that it would get eyeballs. And it should be. But that was very cute. I was just so thrilled for her. I wanted to make sure and share it. And I think by her reaction, she didn't know. I think that was a surprise. A social reaction, anyway. Yeah, analysis. What the two strikes exposed here was the streamers don't know what they're doing half the time. As far as how the strategy, what the tactics, what the best way to what the best practices are, what they thought. Now they've got a whole different. Now they've been forced to be transparent. They've got to do accounting in a certain way now. They've got to be more responsible, and that will force just like the old Nielsen's and the old rating system had to jump up when ratings had to be accounted for. I mean, reruns had to be accounted for because that was a payment structure. That was a revolution out of, got rid of old 50s original TV pretty fast. They're going into the 60s. Yeah. Well, thank you, Glenn, for coming over to YouTube and adding to our metrics. Speaking of metrics, nobody cares about Facebook metrics. Yeah. See, but Mohammed, I don't know if him watching in Austria on whatever stream channel there is going to count the same way, just the chunk of US eyeballs on Netflix as far as the decision-making process goes. If they're even looking at foreign markets, I don't know. Well, May, who doesn't? And I know you enjoy Cadet Alice too. I'll never forget walking my first sight. Basically, my first sight at Las Vegas last year, Vegas Trek, was walking in and seeing May with a Cadet Alice shirt on, which I selfied and we got it posted right away. Okay, analysis. I'm going to let you demand all the numbers of all the shows on all the services, including the free ones, and I'll just stand behind you in line. You go right ahead and head up that line. Okay. Hi, Pat B. Glad you could join us. Yay, yay. Okay. Yeah, I know. Later in the year, famous last words for the global markets. I know. See, Rose, this is a thing that most Americans have they barely have heard about Boxing Day. It feels like thanks to globalization here with media, people are just getting to the point where they can say it's Boxing Day. To actually know what happens on Boxing Day, that it has nothing to do with recreations of Sonny Liston or Cassius Clay. Yeah, no boxing, no Sugar Ray Leonard here. Yeah, in the US, Boxing Day is when you rebox everything you didn't want or you need to return. Get in there fast. Longer lines on the 26th than on the 24th. Well, I care about the actors and writers, but then I also do care about the consumer's analysis. Why is this a false choice? Don't make it that. Yes, you have every right to complain when there's something to complain about. Sure. Well, Glenn, I could see this, but we were active occasionally. They don't force when you have things rolling over. Um, that has to go both ways. Mm-hmm. Hey, Fathery, have you had a good reaction to the Christmas special? Hey, William. Well, there you go. Didn't ask for anything, but you got a Delta T, so that counts. That counts, whether it was on your wish list by intention or not. Oh nope, sorry, Mama. Too late to do it now. You're officially out of the. I'm kidding. Hey, Fragrance. I know you're not botting and trolling because there you are, big as life, being alive. Yay. Oh, yeah. The suite in Las Vegas last summer. There you go. Hey, Adam. Good to see you here too. Yay. And same to you. Well, there you go. Analysis. Steelers won. Okay. Good deal. I was talking about a couple of other games. Some surprises too. Well, this is big, Christoph. FedCon has 13 all from Picard and S&W. Well, there you go. And Picard, of course, is done. So that shouldn't be even anything at all. Yes. There you go. Let's say, let's see. Looking for real questions, as everybody is. Dr. Ollie's doing just fine, Melanie. I know we miss him on Saturday morning. I don't miss Saturday mornings being up at 9 and being presentable, but last I talked to him, he was doing just fine, trying some new things out in media psychology. That's a different kind of needle there. How much is Cadet Alice enjoying Prodigy? Tim, hi Tim. Do you have to ask? We've got 16 episodes up. She's enjoying it pretty well. And when I get her in the right mood and got her cranked right, she will offer opinion on everything. And sometimes surprises me too. Yeah. Hello, Sydney. Yay. Let's see. Looking on down here. Okay. Christoph, it's on your German language Netflix or the Austrian Netflix. Okay. Thank you, Christoph. You said it better than I could. And a link. Yay, yay, yay. I really so much appreciate you guys and your support. Gotta represent Cadet Alice. You betcha. You should have seen her at her first panel. She and I did a panel on the kids programming section at SoonerCon, and it was all adults in the room. The kids, there were 2 kids at the side coloring, but the rest of the room was adults, and she was just awesome. I wanted to tape it. We didn't video it, but I've got lots of pictures, and she was just enjoying the heck out of having a video monitor to point to. It was awesome. What now? Zahir, have they found a cure for CTE in the 24th century? I don't know. Well, see, Justin, this is the thing. This is what my point was today. If that feels disingenuous to you, then you know you don't have to partake. The point is, people are just trying to adapt to Netflix's business model, to their modus operandi. Netflix decides futures of shows, cancels or renewals, in the first 30 days. So we've already got a second season. If people want more Prodigy, you've got to act now. That's what I'm saying. The normal thing of a fan base and word of mouth and letting it grow, there's no wait till the 3rd season here. Everything is truncated and crammed down anyway. We've, you know, as much as people, even historically, I can point to all the reasons why, but the fact that Discovery got 5 streaming seasons is kind of amazing. And it happened with things in flux. The first flush of, you know, streaming madness and mania, throw everything on the wall, see what sticks, to the retrenching, to the strikes. The fact we may look back and see that the fact that Discovery got 5 seasons may be amazing. And, you know, the first seasons were the above 10 episodes. They actually had 15, I think, the first season. So that's why. No one's trying to be fake or pull anything over the wool over the eyes. People are just dealing with, it's like it's just like all the people that normally used to wait for the second weekend to go see an opening show, and they did that with Nemesis. Part of what added to Nemesis's, you know, black hole reputation was that not enough people in a crowded holiday time went to see it on opening weekend. A lot of people hate opening weekends and they want to go in a relaxed time. Well, you can do that, but you may be relaxedly watching it, you know, on DVD in your own home or streaming it years later. And that's this kind of situation. If you want to help it out, the time to go is now, because 2 months from now won't matter, much less 6 months or a year from now. If you want more Prodigy, you've got to act now. We're just dealing with the hand that we're dealt and the rules that have been handed down. What's happened is most people have not, everybody's just tried to make it the hooray, oh, look, we saved a show, let's all get excited, and this general sense of let's add to the ratings. But the hard truth is they've got to have the numbers in the first month, or we'll get the 2 years, even though it's 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line when we would see a season 3. It won't happen. So there you go. I hear you. But it's not a fraud. It's just the way things are now. Just the way it is. We can't go at this in the traditional Star Trek way of building it by word. The word of mouth will come, but for right now, gotta act now. Must act. It's a fast action bonus, as they say in marketing. In 30 words or less analysis, Star Trek fandom has changed with Trek over the years compared to the early days, the same way the whole culture has changed. Everything is sped up, everything is miniaturized, everything is faster turnover. Like I was just saying here about the viewing of Prodigy. Well, I'm going to say analysis that fandom feels like it got toxic because of, again, the culture-wide impact in everything of social media and those killer algorithms that we didn't know was negativizing everything. They're not a magnet for something. They're a magnet more for negativity than positivity. It's the same thing. It's turned it inside out, inverted. We don't, like, people criticize the news for always being bad news. Oh, it's the plane crash. It's the car wreck. It's who died. We don't stop to think about how many billion people weren't in a plane crash that flew, or they drove and they weren't in a car crash. What's the, death cells? It's the thing is that social media is that, but you had news filtered by trained journalists who went to school. Now we've got everybody and their dog using social media that's in everybody's back pocket, and it's magnetized to give you what you want. So if you go down a road, then you're just given more of that. So everything eventually accumulates, because we are, sad to say, it's not just the gatekeepers of information. There's the whole factor of the looky-loos, right? Everybody who slows down to look at the crash on the side of the highway or see what's going on. Oh, there's fire trucks, there's police cars in the neighborhood. Everybody wants to go over and see if they can. That's kind of a human nature thing, but it doesn't go out of control. And social media allows our basic tendencies. We're not all horrible people because we don't live there 24/7. But now social media has encouraged and allowed people, especially those who didn't have a good defense against that instinct, to live there 24/7 and go to the worst cases of all opinions and go to the worst cases of all scenarios. Have the doom and gloom, doomsday scrolling sensation. Okay. That's why fandom feels more toxic. Some of the people have piled on with each other. A lot of it's bots and trolls and people making a buck from negativity. But that's it. When you go to live events still, that's not there. I would say 99.999% of the people you meet and see and talk to, that's not represented. That is not represented in the real world, which is what we think we used to live in. So part of this is just a perception across not just in fandom, but across the world, that we've been dragged down and things are more divided and partisan and all that. Well, they might be by now, but they've been ginned up in the last 10, 15 years. Thank you. Out of control algorithms. But we're starting to fight back. We've become aware the last few years, and we're starting to strike back and be aware. I've said before, it's nothing unlike the coming of the A-bomb when we started, the crazy early Pollyanna about, ooh, look at all the, we had to go through the deal with the implications of it, then finally get control of it. Yeah. Oh, come on. It's Nemesis. Nemesis. Ah, my old Nemesis, arrayed in a row. Yes, that's it. Hey, Boa Trek. Isn't it available in Canada in some way, just not Netflix? I thought it had its own little channel. Exactly, Christoph. Yes. Thank you. What a reference. What a reference there. I didn't mention Trek Files in the thing. I'll have to do that. We'll do that again. The plural of Nemesis is family. Oh, okay. I think we're getting down to end the chat. Yeah. I think I'll get my news from billionaires. They were given everything they have. Those people know their stuff. Okay. Exactly. It's just what I preach this every year. People go for the first time. They're nervous, obviously, about going for the first time. It's a big thing. They may not have even been to Vegas or traveled much. It's intimidating. And the most welcoming place in the world is, I say all the time, the first line you stand in for 20 or 30 minutes, you come away with 5 new friends. Isn't that true, everybody? And it just takes off from there. And you'll always remember those first people you saw, too. I'd like to, William, but I've got to do certain things first. But I have ideas for books for 10, 12, 20 years ago. I was actively pursuing a couple of book things. Thankfully, the book world for Star Trek nonfiction has changed dramatically. It has opened up incredibly. Yes. Okay, Rose is out here plugging Falling Tower. Show some love that way. Okay, Christoph, actual question, release date for Con of Wrath. What's CON? I do not know. We are searching for an end game to getting it finished. And they keep coming and popping up and getting into a conversation. So I'll let you know as soon as I can. Glenn, I'm not even going to try. The whole thing won't even display here. People can just read that in the chat. Yes. Thank you, Christoph. There you are. Well, there is Trek Long Island, which is a smaller con, but still very Trekish there in Long Island, New York. Just to say, there's the Florida Comic Cons, or all Trek cons. You know, Creation has is going to retry their old, to try their old, maybe not so many, not one a weekend, but the Creation's going to experiment with trying at least some regional cities again. And they're starting with San Francisco, actually suburban Southside San Francisco, in March. And I'm going to be there, like a mini Vegas. So that's coming up. Also, I'm going to be at Gallifrey One again, at least for a day or so here in Los Angeles, which is the nominal Doctor Who convention. So things are popping up in 2024 and more to come, I can assure you. More is on the horizon. I think we are absolutely had so much potential, but Reed Pop apparently has walked away from the license. Yeah. Hi, Scott. It's been a while. Glad you could make it in there. Discovery had, no, CBS All Access had bottomless pockets for Discovery because it was the first big splash. Yeah, it had, yeah. They couldn't be short. Remember? It was all about competing with Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Does anybody even say the word Game of Thrones anymore? Oh my gosh, that's where it started. Okay, you guys are all going timey-wimey here on Doctor Who. I think that's going to be it. And you know what? I totally Want to mention again that we have the there we go. Oh, hey, Sean. Say hi to you too. Okay. No, hey, Scout 3. Hello. And there's no native animation happening at Netflix, which was probably a pruning of the big corporate tree after the strikes, I'm imagining. Yeah, Glenn, that's exactly what it is. Okay, guys, I've got to wrap this up. But I do want to say, seriously, if Santa forgot you with your trek, come aboard. We've got the gift boxes with all the swag, the combined deals, the discount 1 and 2 months out of the free for doing up front with the gifts up front, and some bonus things, all with Portal 47. Or you know what? Just come over and join the old-fashioned normal way. It'd be great to have you in the Portale community as 2024 Star Trek is going to shift its landscape again a little bit, but we can deal with it. We will see what's happening. We can deal with it. Again, a big thank you to our Patreon here, our TTL club, and our live wires guys. I will get the guys, gals, and peeps. I will get what you're owed out to you soon. If you want to jump in, and it's still not too late to get in this month, it's simple. 5, 10. You can add on to this, but I've kept it minimum $5 and $10 levels, just the 2 levels. The $10 get a batch every so often of early day video interviews with backstage creatives from the early years of Portal 47. Hey, I'm so proud of this. It's our 250th episode on the Trek Files. I didn't make a special graphic because it doesn't need it. Our 250th episode, we don't number them that way. It's season 11, episode 8. Number 250 is a nod to, yes, the animated series 50th anniversary, with none other, with all things Cation as our kickoff, the great Mike McMahon. Yes, your Lower Decks creator and showrunner is our guest on the Trek Files this week. It's a special bonus long episode, longer than the normal shorties, almost double long, but it's great. We had a great conversation. We started off looking at the animated series. Our document of the week was that newsletter, but also the Maress biography. Anyway, it was great. Great to have that be our 250th episode, have Mike aboard for that, honor the animation history. And we talked a little bit about what's gone on with Lower Decks this last season, how the show has evolved, what might be happening. He dropped the word that when we recorded it a couple of weeks ago, he was just wrapping up the season 5 writing. So we won't see it until probably late next summer, the typical slot for Lower Decks. But you want to see this one. And you can celebrate our 250th Trek Files with us when you do. Other than that, gang, I'll say it once more. Trekland Trek, if you're in LA, want to join up, we can hook you up. We can beam you up and hook you up at the same time. And, the socials are still the same for now. Larry Nemechek on Twitter, X, whatever the hell it is this week. Trekland, like and subscribe on the YouTube, would you please? And Instagram. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, Facebook. Portal47.net. Check it out. Even if you don't want to jump on the gift situation, just come over and check it out. It's awesome. It's like a mini con all year long. No more post-con blues with the package and the features all year long. And yes, I know the holidays are technically over, but it's a late December New Year's clear out. Back the TeePublic store. All the stores at TeePublic, including Trekland, are back on that 35% off sale. So if you're wanting to get a little Trekland swag, if you want to get a Trekwell shirt or even a travel mug or, anything, computer case. I love my hashtag stack. Anything of ours, Cadet Alice swag is all cute, and you'll certainly start a conversation with it. It's all on sale once again now through the end of the year at the TeePublic store. Gang, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to have live folks here with us for the year again. My goodness, it's the 9th year of Portal 47, but what did we do? Coming next year will be a 7th year for TTL. And a little bit along there, it'll be the 6th year for the Trek Files. It does add up, doesn't it? Everybody, please, once again, stay healthy, do all the things, stay woke, check your sources. And yeah, Trek well, everybody. Oh, the Trekland trunk is open. If you love studio collectibles, if you have not done so, because I haven't had it open in 5-6 years, people have been snapping up DS9 set blueprints like crazy. Kind of shocked me. I found a stash. I wanted to get them out for the holidays. I'm going to be doing that for a while longer. So yeah, if you have not joined the Facebook page, the Trekland Trunk, get on there. That way you'll hear about it. I also have a Twitter. My only other Twitter was for the Trekland Trunk because people need to know when something goes up. All on eBay. That's going on too. But sure, whatever you're doing, be safe, be smart, and trek well for real.